All right, good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam, coming to you on this lovely Tuesday, November 29th morning, here to give you some of my favorite NBA player props for today. So, of course, hopping on to oddsjam.com, checking out the positive expected value page, finding mathematically profitable player props so we can get into it. And this is actually not going to be one of my plays, this Andrew Wiggins one. If you want a quick recap why, quick just explanation why. So the positive EV play is plus 150 at DraftKings. Look at where majority of the books price it. We see like plus 145, plus 139. Pinnacle is all the way down at plus 114. That's actually a bigger outlier than the plus 150. So I ended up deciding to skip this one. You could still play these and probably be good in the long run, but I try to place the best of the best and the most profitable. So these are the types of things that I avoid. If someone placed it, I wouldn't say that's a bad bet. I would just be a little bit more selective personally. I am. So the play that I am locking in here is the Steph Curry under 40.5 points, rebounds, assists. Feels a little scary fading Steph Curry, but at the end of the day, the math is the most important thing. The no vig odds price this at about minus 106. PointsBet gives it to us at minus 105. So small gap, but still a gap nonetheless between these two, the no vig odds and the bet that we are placing. And these no vig odds that you see in this column here also can be viewed as the OddsJam perfect line, or I like to call it the OddsJam perfect line. It's pretty important to understand where those numbers come from. OddsJam back-tested thousands of previous betting opportunities, just collecting all this historical data, trying to determine what sportsbooks historically do the best job at pricing odds. So they gathered all that information and then made that determination from that data, and now use those sharp books to set the markets moving forward. So that's why it's such a powerful tool, because we're just letting the sports books do the work for us. We're just collecting all this data. OddsJam is, not me personally. Collecting all this data and then saying, okay, these X amount of sports books do the best job at pricing odds. Let's remove the VIG from those sports books using a weighted average, giving heavier weight towards the sharper books. And then we're just going to find sports books that have mispriced lines compared to those no VIG odds, which is exactly what we have here for this Steph Curry one. So minus 105 is the Caesars line. Pretty much every book, except for FanDuel, favors this play going under, right? We see Caesars and DraftKings have it at minus 125. That DraftKings one is important because they are one of the three sports books we use to set lines specifically for player props. And by set lines, I mean kind of view them as, okay, this is what the true line should be. So it's DraftKings, BetOnline, and the OddsJam line / Pinnacle. If those three are in alignment and they're outliers to the positive expected value bet, that is going to be a good player prop. So in this case, DraftKings minus 125. BetOnline has it the least favorable from our perspective at minus 118, but then Pinnacle has it at minus 123. Regardless, these three are all closer together than the minus 105 at PointsBet. So this leads me to this tells me that this is a profitable bet. Another thing I like to do with bigger numbers, such as like points, rebounds, assists, points, also obviously works with any yardage prop in football and then any spread and total for any sport. If you view the event page in a new tab, we can see where other sports books price plays at. So unfortunately, there's nothing to glean from here because they all have it at 40.5. But it could have been a situation like this Luka Doncic one where they have it priced between 49.5 and 50.5. So if we were betting over 49.5, the fact that other books would have it priced at 50 would be a good sign. Not the case here with Steph Curry, but still something important to look for. But regardless, this is going to be my first bet of the day. Steph Curry under 40.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 105 at PointsBet. Next up, and the odds on this one obviously aren't ideal at minus 143, but it's still important to understand that it's more so the value of the play than the odds themselves. So if it's a valuable bet at plus 170, I'll take it. If it's a valuable bet at minus 143, I'll take it. The odds are the most important thing compared to the no vig odds. So in this case, no vig odds price this at minus 144. Essentially, if we can round up from minus 143.85, Bet Rivers is giving it to us at minus 143. So that's a good price there. And then look at the 3 sharp books and where they have it priced. Pinnacle all the way down at minus 179. That's almost an outlier in and of itself. But BetOnline minus 164, DraftKings minus 165. Both of them are at a minimum 21 to 22 cents higher than the Bet Rivers line. So I do think that this is a good one. So I would recommend putting a full 1 unit on this one. Spencer Dinwiddie under 3.5 rebounds. Not a huge rebounding guard. So you're paying for it with the minus 143 odds, but I do think that it's a really good price. And then my last player prop that I'm going to lock in here is this Klay Thompson over 17.5 points, minus 109 at Bet Rivers. The Nova gods have this at about minus 109.14. And then actually scratch that. The odds changed since I last checked on this, and the outlier here is actually the Pinnacle one, more so than BetOnline and DraftKings. So the odds changed on this one. It did look a little bit favorable when I first looked at it before I started recording. So sorry, but I am leaving this in because I do think it's important for people to understand what I look for and when I decide to place a bet versus maybe I'll pass on that one. And I don't want people to think that, oh, this is an unprofitable bet. No, that's not the case. It's just not as big of an outlier as I would have liked. And player props, because you're betting on a person as opposed to a group of people, the the variance can be a lot more significant with player props. So like if you're comparing the Bet Rivers line, minus 109, this BetOnline one, only 14 cents higher. DraftKings, only 11 cents higher. And then look at Pinnacle, all the way at minus 146. This is a bigger outlier than the minus 109, so I'm avoiding it. It's as simple as that. So I'm only going to have 2 plays for you guys, the Spencer Dinwiddie and the Steph Curry unders. So if you're tailing these 2, comment and let me know, but that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.